Hey everyone, I'm Austin and I'm here with Mike Tanner with Tanner Realty Group. And we're here for another episode of our podcast. Today's podcast is going to be a little bit different, but we have some exciting news. So, Mike, I'll let you do the honors, your business. So, let's hear it.
Well, the long story short is we've actually opened a branch of Tanner Realty Group in Edmond, Oklahoma, which is where I'm at right now, actually starting to build the business here. We've done that for a couple of reasons, but that's the major announcements. We'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, we're my wife and I's youngest just graduated from high school, and we now have the ability to work more remote than we did before. So this was a part of our initial thought in starting Tanner Realty Group, but it's been several years that we've been pretty centrally located with the kids in Southwest Washington State, Portland, Oregon area. But now we're able to actually take Tanner Realty Group further outside the area, and we selected Edmond, Oklahoma, and it's a pretty cool town, to be honest with you. It's a lot of fun to live and work here. I'm enjoying it, and I'm back and forth about every 2 to 3 weeks right now. So American Airlines absolutely loves me.
So, for those of you that don't know where Edmond, Oklahoma is, Mike, where is Edmond, Oklahoma? And then why Edmond?
Edmond, Oklahoma is just north of Oklahoma City. So we are right smack in the middle of the state of Oklahoma. Part of the reason really for Edmond, um, it's a beautiful area, reminds us a lot of the Pacific Northwest, very similar demographic to where we've lived in Camas, Washington for the last almost 20 years. Very, very comfortable area to live in, great schools, high academic standards for a lot of the schools here, very similar to Camas. Um, the taxes are just a little bit higher than the surrounding area, but Camas also has that as well. But part of the reason for that is because the city upkeep is great. Just like Camas, it's a beautiful, clean city that a lot of people are really involved in city programs. It also has a revitalized downtown area, which is kind of fun because in Camas, we have an old paper mill, right? Thus the Camas Papermakers mascot. And so here in Edmond, it's not a paper mill, it's an old flour mill with a downtown area that's been revitalized, just like Camas has. So as my wife Stephanie and I were first walking around, we're like, man, this feels really familiar. So it kind of some fun similarities between the two towns.
Yeah, that's great. And for those listening, they're like, well, now they're in Oklahoma. See ya. Well, that's not the case. We still have an operating team here in the Pacific Northwest, the
Yep.
Vancouver Metro and Portland Metro area. We're happy to serve you however we can. We are just excited about this expansion to Oklahoma as it brings opportunity not only for our team members, everyone involved, but also for our clients. So, Mike, you touched on this a little earlier, that there's a few reasons why Oklahoma is such a great place for this new business. Can you
Mhm.
maybe touch on those and how this serves our clients in a really unique and new way?
Part of what we've been looking for our clients, particularly in the Pacific Northwest, is investment opportunities. With my background in financial services, I work with a lot of investors, and quite candidly, investors, just like everybody else in the Northwest, we're starting to get a little priced out of the market with rising interest rates, with home values. Try to find a duplex in Southwest Washington State right now. It's very tough to do. So part of what we were looking for in looking at expansion of our business and really taking our model of how to do real estate to another area is opportunities for our investors. And boy, have we found them. There are some tremendous opportunities here, not just in Edmond, but the surrounding areas in Oklahoma City for some really great investment opportunities. Average price point is significantly lower than the Pacific Northwest, though they're great houses. But you can actually pick up a single family home here as a rental unit for less than $100,000. And you can't really do that in the Northwest anymore.
Definitely not. And one of the biggest things, at least for some investors' strategy, is cash flow. And with the higher interest rates, higher prices, right now in the Pacific Northwest, it's difficult to find cash flow on those single family units because there's still so much demand from just retail buyers. So investors can't really find what they need unless it's off market. And it takes a lot of work for those that are maybe working their 9 to 5, working their normal job, and just want real estate as a hedge to either inflation or just an addition to their investment portfolio. So having the Oklahoma opportunity with potential cash flow, a lower price point, and a team that you can trust from your hometown could be a great opportunity. So, Mike, what resources do you have right now for remote investors, and kind of what's the first step in becoming a remote investor for those who haven't?
Well, number one, make sure you're qualified to become a remote investor. And that's really, if you're not going to pay cash, that's really a great conversation to have with your lender. We have a couple of preferred lenders that we'd love to get you connected with that work with our investors who really understand what an investor is looking for, how they need to be worked with, because sometimes a typical loan officer doesn't really understand that. So we've actually vetted several people that can guide you through that process. For example, a lot of people don't know the down payment is different on a non-owner occupied property. And so a good lender can help walk you through that and help you really understand what you need to be prepared for. The second team that we are actively interviewing for and putting in place right now is property management groups. Because my old joke about nobody wants to unclog toilets at 3 a.m, get that call. Well, it's not really a joke when you're 1,500 miles from your rental property. You don't have the option to do that even. So a property management group is key, and we actually have a couple of them that I am just this next week about ready to pull the trigger on and actually have as some of our preferred property managers. A few more interviews to go, but looking really, really good. We've got a couple of very good options around town here. And as I've talked with other investors besides myself, and also some friends who are agents in the business, that was their key concern. A lot of investors don't know lenders that can help them out, but the common theme has been property management. That's really what they're looking for. And so fortunately, this time next week, we're actually going to be able to provide a couple of property management groups for our investors to be introduced to. So I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. Having a good property management group will allow us for some hands-off, cash flowing investments that everyone seems to be looking for these days. So that's amazing. And honestly, just like here, just like if you're buying a home, Tanner Realty Group's able to provide you with resources as well. Almost any service person you can think of, we have some sort of connection. And if we don't, we know how to get the information for a good one. It's not always just calling on your neighbor to come fix your roof. It's calling on the professionals that are going to get it done right and take care of you well. So Mike, we're super excited for this expansion. Thank you so much for sharing. If you are an investor and you are thinking about potentially investing out of state, give us a call. We'd love to be able to have a conversation with you about what it means to be an investor, and Mike can talk you through what it looks like to be a remote investor in Oklahoma. So Mike, hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk again here soon. Thank you, everyone.